Hello folks, this is a quick model train video. So about a year ago, I started piecing together a model of a rough approximation of a Norfolk Western Class E2 locomotive. In particular, Norfolk Western 578, because if any of you know much about me personally, I've got a very personal connection with that locomotive, and I've always wanted to have an HO miniature of it. The only trouble is that most of the brass models of this locomotive are muy expensive. So instead, I bought a very similar locomotive, a Chicago Northwestern E-Class, at a model train show many years ago. I think it was like $30 or something. And yeah, about a year ago, I painted this up and got transfers and so on stuck onto it. And I took advantage of my campus print lab for those, and they came out pretty nice. The only problem is that at some point the motor kind of like blew up, so that was fun. However, I had a motor out of a much cheaper and lesser quality model train that I'd gutted, and I'd always been wanting to figure out a way to put that motor inside this engine. Because even when I had the old motor, it never really had much torque and couldn't really get moving on its own most of the time. So a new motor had kind of always been necessary, and then when the other one went kaput, I figured, you know what, let's try putting this other one in. The trouble with that being that I don't own a soldering iron, and also I'm not particularly good with electricals in general, so a lot of the motor replacement in this revolved around duct tape and crossed fingers. However, I just got it back together today, and I do think it turned into a pretty decent running locomotive. And curiously, even though the motor's pretty torquey, the gear ratio is pretty low, and it should fly along pretty fast generally, this goes pretty fast for how little power it gets. It's actually a very electrically efficient engine, which I don't know what the use of that in HO is, but it's pretty cool. Aesthetically, there's still a lot more that I'd like to do on this engine, mainly replacing some of the outside steam pipes that I added on, putting a new whistle on it, and also getting nicer marker lights. But in general, I'm just happy that it works again.